Welcome back, everybody, to the Clashing Conferences Members Pod. This is going to be our Christmas episode where I dress up and nobody else. There are quite a few things for us to talk about this week. I'm going to let a couple of people go on some rants. Some people have some propaganda that they're wearing that's going to speak for themselves right now. I'm sure there's quite a few of those that sold in a certain area of the country more than others. But let's go ahead and jump right into it. Patty, I feel like you're making your stance known again on your feelings about the NCAA committee or the playoff committee not letting in Notre Dame. I will say before I let you go that both the teams that got in ahead of you that were controversial both won in upsets. So, not saying you have to get that into your rant at all, but I'm gonna open it up to you first, and I feel like you've got some things that you want to say, maybe some follow
Sure.
ups.
Let me start off by saying I think that, or at least I hope that I made it clear the last time that we went over this, that I have no issues with Miami and Alabama as playoff teams. They are not my enemy. I thought Miami passed the eye test all year. I thought that, obviously they had those two bad losses, but, you know, for people that didn't watch Miami and then got their first look at them this weekend, like Bain and I forget the other kid's name on the other edge, like they're both going to be top 10 draft picks as edge rushers this upcoming season. Like that's a legitimate defensive line. They can hang with anybody. Now, Carson Beck has his, woes. I think we all saw with Texas A&M what some of us saw when they came back and beat South Carolina. And it's the fact that Marcel Reed is just not necessarily the guy yet. Like he's okay, but he's not really the guy to get things done when the crunch time comes. And as for Bama, I guess it's probably my fault when it was 17-0. I think I texted every group chat and I was like, "This is the team you let in?" Question mark. So I shouldn't have put that in the world. But again, the committee, and then you look at Tulane and JMU. I get it under the G5 rules, but like really have we and not just G5 teams get blown out. Let me start by saying that there's been plenty of Power 5 or Power 4 teams that get blown out. TCU got creamed by Michigan or Georgia, whoever it was 2 years ago. Tennessee got crushed last year. Like there's P4 teams that lose just as bad as those G5 teams. But again, I think the issue for me goes back to the ACC letting 2-loss Miami not in the championship, but 5-loss Duke in the ACC championship. If, and again, you can't go back in time, but if Miami wins the ACC championship, then either probably JMU's out, and you're looking at Notre Dame, Oregon, or you're looking at Ole Miss, Oregon, or Ole Miss, Notre Dame, which would have been, much better games. But congrats to Miami. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I think Miami win. I don't think they will, but if Miami wins the national title, that's the best thing that could happen for Notre Dame because people said they played a soft ass schedule all year, and Miami winning the national championship would just further prove that they played two of the hardest games all. Their two losses were the two of the toughest opponents all year.
I agree with you. They're not winning the national championship. Um, but
I agree.
that would be icing on the cake for sure. Look, we said it a couple weeks ago, and I agree with you. It's the committee's fault. The committee, with the way that they do things, is just it didn't make any sense. They proved the SEC bias, in my opinion. I'm with you. I get the G5 rules. I get it, but at the same time, is the tournament, is this playoff supposed to be the top teams, or is it supposed to be we're throwing a bone to this person, we're throwing a bone to that person? Like, what is it? What is it supposed to be? What is it meant to be? So, I think as much as we give you flack and we give Notre Dame fans flack, Notre Dame probably started this ball in motion, really, to get everything to change by them opting out. Um, you know, and, and look, we posted about it earlier with the Pop Tart Bowl and the helmets and everything, but like, it would be cool to see Notre Dame. Like, you're used to seeing Notre Dame in a bowl game of some sort, and it's usually a New Year's Day bowl or pretty damn close to New Year's Day. So not seeing them this year, it is going to hurt ratings and it is going to hurt college football in some capacity. So mission accomplished by Notre Dame by doing what they did. regardless of how we all feel about it. And I think it's going to force the hand of the NCAA and the committee to change the way that they do things moving forward. So it will be interesting to see. I will say though, like those other games were not competitive with JMU. You know, like JMU did put up points on Oregon, but it was after the fact. Oregon was already up, what, like 41-7 or something like that. So, you know, they
Yeah.
put up garbage time points, really.
But it was a lot because I was going to say, you just kind of crapped on what I was going to say. JMU actually um, scored or had the most yards that Oregon has given up the entire year.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
I
that's
mean,
that's the ghost of Signetti right there. But you know,
I think that JMU put up a better fight than most people think. Again, I think it was late. Like there was a point in the game where Oregon was up 35 and they throw an interception on the 1 yard line. Like they were about to go up 42. And then JMU kind of used that momentum, you know, to backdoor cover my financial gains. But like at the end of the day, it's just tough because it's like what to Kyle's point, like is JMU a great story? Do I want to see a Cinderella in football? Yeah. Have we seen any inkling that there can be a Cinderella in football? Like this, unfortunately, is not basketball. And we
Mm-mm.
love Cinderella and March Madness, but like football is not basketball, especially now in the NIL days. You know, maybe 10 years ago when like even like teams like the Boise State when they had like Kellen Moore and them like maybe they could have done it, or the UCF team that won undefeated and were like we're the national champions because you didn't, you know, put us like
Right.
those teams pre NIL where you had a lot of these guys that were there for 3 or 4 years and built a team around, maybe. But in a day and age where everybody's transferring in and out, I find it hard to believe that any G5 team can, you know, hang on with a top because they're going to be the 11 or 12 seed. So you're telling me they're going to hang on to a top 7 team in the country? I just don't see that.
Mm-mm. I agree with you. Agree with you wholeheartedly. There's
uh,
definitely a talent disparity there. You know what I mean? Like a discrepancy. And like to your point, it's not like a March Madness 12 versus 5. If you're in college football and you're playing a 12 versus 5, like you're gonna get your ass handed to you. Like that's basically what's gonna happen. Like it's not the same thing, you know. And your chances are that that number 5 team is probably that loser of the SEC championship game is who you're going to play. So like, good luck, congrats for making the
Also,
playoff. But
Also, being the 12 doesn't make you the 12. It really makes you the 20 or the 25
correct.
with the
Yep.
current format, you
Right.
know?
Yep. Yep. I agree.
so just to make sure that I'm aligned, so we can land this conversation. Notre Dame needs to join a conference. That's what I heard.
I
Does that
don't see
sound
it
about
happening
right?
after today's news with USC dropping out of the series that they don't want to re-sign their I you know how I feel about this, Paul. I wouldn't be upset if they joined a conference. I don't necessarily think that's the answer though, because I don't want to go down the whole rabbit hole. There's 20 team conferences. Like Notre Dame's not going to sign a 10-year deal to join the ACC, and then Clemson or Florida State or any of these, you know, higher teams in the ACC leave to go to, let's say, like I said the other day, the best thing to happen to Notre Dame, and it wouldn't happen. I think I was talking to you guys about this, was that it would be a
The Big
reformation of the
East.
Big East.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that would be the best thing to happen to Notre Dame. But other than that happening, which I do not see happening, I just don't see them joining a conference. I could be wrong, but I don't see it.
I mean, I think that's the overwhelming take from media and people. So I'm just regurgitating that.
No, I agree with you.
In the end, does it mean it's going to work out? No, because it absolutely could happen. Like, you know, you've been waiting to get in. Well, not waiting, but you finally get in, and then everybody freaking leaves again. Well, that would just prove that again, everybody hates you. But you literally get in, and then like, you know, Carolina, Florida, like the Carolina teams and the Florida teams just bail.
Well,
Somehow
the issue
circumvent the grant of rights.
the issue is, and the reason why everybody's clamoring for it is because they're in a conference in every other damn sport. It's just football that they're not. So it's that's why they're like, I don't understand how the NCAA allows that to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, imagine Alabama going, you know what? We're not going to be in the SEC for baseball, but we're going to be in the SEC for football and basketball. But baseball, we're going to be an independent, and we're going to guarantee ourselves a playoff run every year. Like, I don't think that would fly in any other sport with any other school.
But then you also have places like Georgetown, Villanova, where they have Division I basketball, but they can't even field the Division I football, so they're in FCS. So, I mean, isn't that the same thing? Like you're not even you got to be all or nothing. You know, Gonzaga just got moved to whatever the Mountain West or whatever conference they're in. They don't have a football team. There's like 200
But
kids in that school.
that's a competitive balance type thing though. That's a smart move on the NCAA because I mean, if Villanova had to play Alabama, it would be like JMU playing Oregon or Tulane playing over. You know what I mean? Like it would be something similar to that, and it wouldn't be fun. But Villanova competes in D1, and Georgetown competes in Division I basketball. Like they get the talent for that. I don't know. I think we're going to see a ton of changes over the next 2 to 3 years in college football, and I'm sure a lot of it's going to be based around bowl games and media and money, and it's going to be a slippery slope. But unless you're going to play a tournament like this where you take the best teams, nobody's ever going to be happy, right? It's never going to be a perfect science, and I think that's the way you need to do it. You need to take the last 16 teams that are ranked, or the top 16 teams that are ranked, regardless of conference champions, anything like that, and you just put them in a tournament and let them battle it out.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's safe to say that the majority will actually never be happy. The majority won't.
there's always somebody that's going to get screwed over, whether it's 12 or 16 or 24. There's
Yep.
going to be somebody that feels like they're slighted. But I think that the NCAA is like, and again, I like JMU. I like Tulane. I liked Retzlaff when he was at BYU last year. Like, I was excited to see him play. But like at the end of the day, like the NCAA knew what they were doing, putting those games on against the NFL. They didn't put Bama against the NFL because they knew that they didn't want to compete. They didn't put Miami, Texas A&M. That's why Miami, Texas A&M. Why is Miami, Texas A&M a noon kickoff? That should be a primetime game. Oh, the NFL is playing Saturday games now.
40, 30,
Let's throw
4:30.
JMU and Oregon at the same time as Packers Bears on Saturday night. You know.
Yep.
The late
That's a
in the
good call.
late game's going to be UVA and Duke because there's only like 6 states that actually care about that game.
If that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, that was generous. I don't know where I came up with 6. I'm really sure there's 3 or less. Like, and all right, well, let's.
There's the math again. There's that math again.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been so hung up with all of my training that I haven't been up on my schooling. So
yes.
Yeah. How's that going? You're looking pretty Adonis-like.
Yes, I'm feeling it. I'm actually picking at the calluses from my feet right now, to be honest.
Is that from the training or just a normal Tuesday?
From the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, from the
Okay.
ice.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I got some ice burn from all of my egregious efforts. Speaking of egregious efforts, so apparently there was a sanctioned boxing match over the weekend. I actually did stay up to watch it. Majority of the things that happen on that card, not just the main card, were an absolute abomination. None of that really should be happening. I guess the one thing, like where America wins and somehow we still lost. I mean, obviously the entire universe is waiting for Jake Paul's face to be broken, and I didn't know that it was going to be broken, and it didn't look like it did get broken, but it sure as heck did get broken. But then America loses again, so now Jake Paul wins again because now he's flaunting the $100 million he just made from that spectacle. So, I mean, I have my thoughts. I was watching it just by myself. We only have Netflix on one TV, so it was real late. So I just kind of in the dark, just watching that, just begging to go to bed. So I'll turn it over. I think, Chrissy, I'd like to hear your feelings on this. I feel like you were working during this, weren't you?
No, I was home. I was watching it. Unfortunately, yeah, I got.
Well, I mean, if you were at work, I figured you were watching it too, just like 50 times over. Like you couldn't,
No,
like
we
you'd have to
can't-
hide in the ice bin to get away from it. It's on so many
You
TVs.
can't stream that stuff at a business. You can't. That's not legal. So we can't show that at work if we wanted to. But I mean, we could, but you'd get in trouble. But no, I was at home. We had a couple people over, and
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
that was. I mean, we do for all of the Paul fights because it's more comedic than
It's
anything
like going to
for.
a comedy show.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this was worse than a comedy show. I mean, that was a disgusting display for the boxing world to have to submit to, I guess, for lack of better terms, because that was ugly. That was awful. That was a disgrace to boxing. That was. I don't know why they keep letting him be on cards for. And I understand it's all about the money and everything else, but that Anthony Joshua is. Granted, it's been a while since you've seen anything from him, and his last fight was a loss and everything else. But that dude can hit, and he's a power puncher. I mean that. And when he makes contact, he makes contact. And to just it kind of reminded me of the Floyd Conor McGregor fight where Floyd just played with him for like 5-6 rounds and then just said, "All right, we gave everybody what they paid for. Now I can actually do what I came here to do." I kind of feel like that's how that fight went. Like I think it had to go 5 rounds in order for them to make the money they need to make off of it. So you saw Joshua turn it on finally 5 and 6, and even then, like it looked so choreographed. It looked so scripted. I mean, I think he threw a left hook and Logan Paul's bob and weave actually looked like a professional bob and weave. Like that was the one part of the script he got right. And I mean, all the hugging of the legs and everything else and trying to make it look like Joshua was kneeing him when he was pulling his leg into it was ugly. Like I said, I felt like it was a joke to those of us that actually enjoy watching boxing and mixed martial arts and everything else, and disappointed, but that's Netflix.
I mean, the
Yeah.
quote of the night was from the ref where he stopped them both and brought them together and was like, "Look, nobody paid to watch
Crap.
this crap. Like, let's turn this back into boxing. Stay on your feet. You're like, you signed up for this, you moron. This is a heavyweight fight. This isn't cruiserweight.
Hmm.
Stand up and take it." And, at the end, what I saw, because yes, I do think it was scripted, of course, like they all are. But this time you weren't going to get a heavyweight to agree to go down like that. That wasn't good. Like it was going to take a lot for Jake Paul to be able to even get Joshua into a vulnerable position. So at the end, when they both knew it was the end, and Joshua was kind of smiling, and he hit that shot, that hook, and Jake Paul went down, and his face, he just goes like he didn't get like knocked out, like how you get knocked silly. He was like knocked straight. It was like, whoa, that was the first time that's ever happened. That's what that feels like. You
Yeah.
know,
He
he
knocked
was,
the lisp out of him. He
yeah.
definitely knocked the lisp out of him. He was talking without a lisp after that. You know,
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
it was
I
amazing.
give Jake Paul credit for one thing and one thing only. I admire that he is trying to make boxing relevant because I grew up in a day and age where it wasn't. Like, I was little and there was some, older fighters still kind of going at it. And Pacquiao and Floyd are a different beast. Like they were always good and I enjoyed watching them growing up, but like I didn't grow up with Mike Tyson. I didn't grow up with Evander Holyfield. Like obviously a long time ago, Muhammad Ali. So I give Jake Paul credit for trying to keep boxing relevant as someone that likes combat sports. But at the end of the day, it's just so hard when the UFC continues to put out a product that is above and beyond. And UFC's gotten worse over the years. Like it's not a stellar product anymore. But I do give Jake Paul credit for trying to be like, hey, let's still have some, big time fights. And I get that there have been better boxers over the years, whether it's Tyson Fury or like I said, Pacquiao and Floyd. But like we are no longer in a day and age where there's just the best fighters in the world aren't boxing. Like the best fighters in the world are learning how to do jujitsu and making millions of dollars fighting for Dana.
Yeah,
I
I
will
mean, I
say
think
the
if there's anything that Logan Paul has, or Jake Paul, whatever Paul brother it is, they're both weird looking dudes. But if there's anything that has taught us is that boxing is, if it's not a dead sport, it's on life support at this point, because it's just not entertaining and like it's the boxing purists are looking at this as, to Christie's point, it's a joke, right? He's making a mockery of the sport basically, while other people have your take, Patty, where it's like kudos for trying to bring attention back to a dying sport type of thing, right? So I see it from both sides, but at the end of the day, I mean, if you're going to come out and do this, fight an actual boxer, not a boxer that is retired or a boxer that is 55 like the Tyson fight. Like, come on, like fight a guy that's actually fighting like a boxer right now and see how you actually do if you really want to take it seriously, right? But we all know what it is. It's a money grab, and it worked.
My only
Right? They made
counterpoint
a
to that,
ton of
Kyle, would
money.
be is my only counterpoint to that would be is other than Canelo, who is going to draw a card like that?
Correct.
Like, can you name me a guy other than Canelo that's going to draw
No.
a card than a retired boxer? Like,
Nope. Nope.
I was
Right.
going to
Nope. And that's
say I would say the person who was going to be on the fight card originally. I think Tank Davis. I think he fumbled the bag, and I think that would have been a better, believable matchup.
I
Gervonta
think Paul would
Davis.
have beat him. I think Paul would have beat him.
Say Tank's
Yeah, I
last
think-
fight wasn't that great, so I mean you can
And
tell
I
he's on the
and I
down.
definitely he is, and I think Jake Paul is definitely would have been able to bully him too.
Yeah,
He
that's
would
what I
have
mean.
very
He's
much
bigger, he's
overpowered
stronger.
him.
Right. Right.
So my thing was, and let me ask all of you this: is the reason that boxing is dying? Is it because no one's going to sign their kid up to be a boxer these days? Back in the '90s and the '80s, it was acceptable to do. Like now, you've got people like Jake Paul that literally just put their ugly mugs in front of a camera, and people are just throwing millions of dollars at them. And you can go and do all kinds of other sports where the chances of longevity is a lot greater than a boxer who has the lifespan of like an NFL running back. Like, you know, you might be relevant for 2.5 years if you're really good and really lucky. So, I mean, I'm not sure that parents are signing their kids up for it. You know,
No,
when you do like
you can sign your kid
karate
up to
and
be a YouTube star. You can be a YouTube star. Like these kids can be a YouTube star, and they don't need to get punched in the face, and they can still make millions
that's what
of
I
dollars.
mean. And
Jake
the
Paul was a
parents,
YouTube star. Like he was on Disney,
yeah,
but then he was a YouTube star. Like
yeah,
what
yeah,
are we talking about? You know what I mean? Like
you're
I
going to
wouldn't
get an
sign my kid
iPad
up
for
to get punched in
Christmas.
the face.
You're
Yeah,
going to get an
yeah. Give
iPad
him an
for
iPad.
Christmas before you get boxing gloves. And jujitsu
Right.
and karate, those things it's moderated a little bit. It's more of an art. And I mean, boxing is too. There's a lot of skill around that. But you win by punching somebody else in the face better than they're punching you. So I mean, like, it's
yeah. I think my point to that would be too, Paul, is I agree with you, but I also think it's a cultural shift in what makes money. In the 70s and 80s, boxers were probably considered some of the more heftier paid athletes in the world, especially, the Mike Tysons and Holyfields of the world. Like they were getting paid big bucks because you had to go to Vegas or you had to pay pay-per-view to see these guys. And whereas now, like, again, I'm not saying that this is right or that everyone can do it, but like if I'm a kid in an inner city, I could pick up a basketball and make $12 million sitting on the bench or $13 million sitting on the bench for a professional team. And that's probably a much easier path in my life than it is to get beat up and grow up as a boxer. Like those things, there's also just not people like going out there and saying, hey, come to this boxing gym. Like, like this isn't Rocky,
Right.
unfortunately, where you can like walk down the road and there's 5 boxing gyms. Like that stuff costs money now. Like, not that it didn't before, but training and becoming an elite fighter, like anything else, an elite basketball player, an elite baseball player, it takes a lot of money. It's not like back in the day where you could just walk in the gym and say, hey, I want to box. I'm 13 years old. I'm having trouble at school and this is going to keep me out of trouble. Like that in all sports doesn't exist anymore. So, put that on top of boxing, which was dying before. I totally agree with you.
I mean, is anybody
it
else
just
happy
seems-
though that he finally got punched in the face and somebody
Oh
did
my
like?
oh my gosh.
So,
Like,
and
are we all?
Yeah,
he still hasn't. I want to see him take a full power punch one time because that was probably
I'm
like
not.
65% from Joshua, and it broke his jaw.
Yeah. Yep. I completely
it broke
agree
his
with you, but
jaw
I think we're.
on
Yep.
both sides, and the pictures were just horrific. I have never seen.
Oh, I posted it. I posted
swelling.
it in the Discord. That's great.
I've never seen swelling like that in the face, and then like having to have his jaw wired shut, and then what happens next? You see,
we don't have
stupid...
to listen to him for 6 weeks. That's what happens
That's
next.
True. But then he posts the picture of the inside the airplane, and I'm like, now you're back to being the biggest Jagoff.
Yeah.
And like it even brought Jagoffs out of the woodwork. You saw what happened with one of my all-time favorite MMA fighters, Andre Orlovsky, what happened with another one of those annoying, worthless streamers. I'm not even going to say his name. One, because I don't even remember what it is, but same one, just like, intentionally walks into this guy, and the kid looks like he's 12 years old against literally somebody that Bigfoot would be afraid of.
Speed.
No, not I Show Speed. It was some other little kid. It's a little white kid who looks like he looks like he's in high school, but he's got a $1 jillion. And this guy Andre Orlovsky just literally just started.
Oh yeah, I did
beating the snot out of all of his crew, who again weren't all that big either, but they started. He was just trying to exist and be awesome as he is, just walking in like the rotunda at the event, and all on camera from like 7 different angles because it was all staged. It's unbelievable what happens at those things. But yeah, I think it is kind of something that's dying a bit, unfortunately. I don't know. Maybe boxing just needs to join a conference too.
There's your
my heart.
title.
I grew up on boxing, man. I love boxing, and I know that's rare for a female to be a fan of boxing, but like I grew up watching fighting, like you said, like with Holyfield and everybody in the 80s. And then, I remember watching like the Prince fight and Nassim Hamed, like he was a blast to come watch dance out to the ring, and Oscar, Oscar De La Hoya and everybody. And then you had Floyd and all those guys. It breaks my heart that sport's fallen off, because that's a big thing in our household with my husband being an ex-Golden Gloves boxer. We got to
take a timeout real quick.
What up, everybody? The beard is here. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, the law offices of William P. Harrington. Credit card litigation, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, estate planning, estate administration, guardianships, they do it all. As a member, listener, follower, supporter of our network, they are offering you a 15% discount on these services. So if you are in the Pennsylvania or New Jersey area, schedule your free consultation today.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
Yes.
You did such a phenomenal job last week on the Wives episode, and we got to shout you out. Like, oh my God, good job out there.
Thank you. I was nervous, but it was a blast. All your guys' wives are phenomenal. I love them all. And like we said, we're taking over.
Yeah, I got some feedback, and most of them want to talk about sports instead of us moving forward. So I think you're gonna have to have another episode and keep that going.
I had no idea what I was stepping into as far as their sports knowledge and prowess.
Yeah.
Man, all your wives are phenomenal. I'm like, we could do this on our own.
Yeah, my wife was already talking about her background. She was like, I'm not going to sit behind what you have. I'm going to get my own and sit behind it. There was also two husbands in our pod family that are a little bit in the doghouse for not getting the communication across correctly, and 2 wives actually missed out. So, you're looking at a crowd that potentially is one of those, like our Halloween episode that kind of broke the riverside. So, I think, you'd be looking at 7, 8 deep.
Let's do it. I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Now, the last time I saw 7 or 8 women get together, I don't care if they started out as best friends. Give it about an hour, and one of them's dead. I don't know how. Nobody's going to admit it, but one of them, there was like somebody's all scratched up or something happened. So I wouldn't.
I'm not
going to
lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, and I think Patty will attest. We had no idea where you were going with that conversation.
I didn't think that story was going there.
We had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea where you were going as soon as you said, last time I saw 7 or 8 women together, I was like, oh my God, it's going off the rails quick already. We're only halfway in.
No. I think we all understand that it's not trying to. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything like that. It's just a fact. Like, I can go
many
over
women
just
together in a room do not get along. No, I will attest to that.
And I'll say like the opposite. Like you get like 10 guys in a room who've never met each other, give them 2 hours, and all of a sudden it's like you walk out and they're all just like bros. Like it doesn't matter. Like just all like 4 blank walls and 10 chairs to all sit down in, and like you're just in here, and it's going to be completely different outcomes. But
Paul, have you ever seen this story where it was a guy on Barstool and he was talking about how like he went on a guy's trip and his wife was like, "Hey, what did you do?" And he was like, "Literally, we just hung out." They're like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You want to know what we really did?" He goes, "We sat around in a circle and we named the best 2000s baseball players whose names start with R." And he's like, Rafael Furcal. And he goes, "That's what we really did for 3 hours if you wanted to know."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what's going to happen. And the first thing that's going to happen in the women's group is somebody's going to be like, "Oh, I like your nail polish." And that's be like, "You didn't mean it like that. Why you got to say it with that?" And then just, the dominoes, like at some point, there's going to be a trigger, and then it's going to turn into every one of the Real Housewives, shows. But
I think we
digress.
do need to call out Miss Patty Bailey, because I think she got
dropped the bomb.
I think she
dropped the bomb.
She dropped the bomb. So, I was wondering who was going to be the one to do it, and my money was not on Miss Patty Bailey.
She's from Long Island. You can't expect anything out of her. You get her talking about Italian food, she's like, like,
Are you talking about the X, the first X,
Yeah.
the big X?
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I will say this, Patty. I was saying on the OG pod a minute ago, I watched it with my wife and my son, youngest son, because he was kind of in some of the points that my wife was making, so he enjoyed it as well. But your wife's apology for the F-bomb seemed about as staged as that Jake Paul fight. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to?" No,
she's got a sailor's mouth on her, buddy.
So do I.
She'd be the captain of the Navy.
She made me so happy.
I can't imagine that how those conversations go in your household, Patty. I can't imagine how they go. I'm sure you don't get the wrath of that at all. Yeah, I'm sure.
No, I mean the part that's like, I guess not funny, but I guess like a small little detail now is that like when she was a little bit younger, Ellie started saying shit, and we're like, "No, you can't say that. You have to say shoot." So now anytime like she hears one of us say something vulgar, she just goes, "Oh, shoot." Like even like it doesn't matter what the word is, like we'll say the word and she'll correct us and she'll be like, "Daddy, you mean shoot?" And I'm like, "Yes, Ellie, my bad." Like
you're like, awesome. "Oh, F, my bad. I meant shoot." You're right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's good. I do want to call out real quick that the Schwarber jersey for Miss Mike Randler is in the mail, so he should be receiving that, or she should be receiving that for Christmas. So
I brought it up. I brought it up about an hour ago. I was asking. He was like, "Kyle said he was going to get it. I don't know if he is." And then I think your cousin was like, "I feel like he probably would do it."
Oh yeah.
And then on the podcast, was it Randy became an Eagles fan? So I was wondering if you were going to be able to get a 2-for-1 special on Philly gear, but
I would never waste money on getting him an Eagles jersey. Would never do it, because I think that's as staged as Jake Paul as well.
So here's something that didn't sound staged; it just came to light. When are you going to get your first Penn State jersey?
Oh,
it's funny you say that. I hate you all. I'm not a Penn State fan. I will root for Penn State because my wife's a Penn State fan.
Mm-hmm. Season tickets, I heard. Season tickets?
Because of the atmosphere, because of the historic atmosphere at Penn State and Beaver Stadium. What? Yeah, the first game I went to this year, it was pretty intense, man. It was pretty intense.
I'm sorry, did you go to the Indiana game?
I did go to the Indiana game.
As your first game at Penn State, watching that toe tap touchdown at the very end for them to win.
We got
tickets.
Gosh. We got tickets back in September when Penn State was still ranked number 2. So at the time, we didn't realize that James Franklin would get fired, Drew Aller would tear his ACL, and the team would be complete chaos at that point. So it turns out that Indiana was ranked number 2 at that time, and it turned out to be a pretty damn good game. So, it wasn't the same atmosphere as you normally would for Penn State, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I'd go back. I'm a sports enthusiast, Paul.
Consistently? You go back consistently?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Thank you for hitting on that, Patty. It's like you would go back. It sounds like you've actually paid to go back
No.
on a consistent basis.
No, but if we got season tickets, I'm sure that my capital gains would make a nice little profit off of selling those tickets. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. And this would be the year to do it before they finish the upgrades to the stadium. That's all I'm saying. It's savvy business sense. That's what it is.
Kyle's like, listen, there's this Chinese restaurant down the road, and I don't like Chinese food. I swear I don't. But they have really good atmosphere. They light these candles, and they got everything going on. And I swear I don't like Chinese food, but we go there all the time.
You nailed it. You nailed it. You know why? Because my wife likes it. So I'm a sucker. I am a sucker. That's it. That's it.
You're a good husband.
There you go. That's what I like to think, Christy. See, I'm not angry. I'm not upset, but I am a good husband.
I drag my husband to every Bucks Heat game, and neither one of us is a Bucks fan, but he goes with me to support the Heat, so it's fine. I get it.
There you go. And look, I did dress the part. I dressed in Penn State gear when I went to Penn State because I'm not gonna not. Like, what am I gonna do? What else am I gonna wear? I'm not gonna wear an Eagles shirt to a Penn State game unless it's Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? Like, that's just. I'm not that guy.
What is wrong with wearing an Eagles? I mean, Eagles stuff should be outlawed out in public anyway. So I feel like you'd be pretty safe
where it
and pretty
wasn't
well
outlawed?
accepted.
You know where it wasn't outlawed? It wasn't outlawed in Landover, Maryland this past week when the Eagles whooped up on the Commanders with 70 to 80% attendance was all Eagles fans down there. What a joke of a town you have for your stupid Commanders. What a joke. You should be ashamed of yourself down there. Nobody shows up to that crap team. You don't even like them. You got Redskins behind you. You don't even have anything that says Commanders.
That's because I'm not a Commanders fan. I'm a Redskins fan.
Yeah. It seems like they're stuck back in 35. I know we always talk about the Cowboys and that they haven't done anything in 30 years. The Commanders haven't done anything in 35.
Christy, is this that point that we talked about before? I think he's getting a little fired up here. I believe I was just trying to host this podcast, and now I'm taking strays left and right here.
Look,
listen, what would this pod be without a rant? What would this pod be without a rant?
Yeah, it'd be nothing.
So I figured I'd kick it off, and there you go.
I've already done all those rants in my head. I'm not worried about it.
Look, I know I was going to rip on Paul, too, because Packers-Bears game, why is there a dude in a Redskins jersey hanging out at the Packers-Bears game? Like, that's my pet peeve. Those are my rants that I want to go on. Why are you sitting in the stadium wearing a jersey from a team that is not playing right now? Wrong place, wrong time.
And not a rival and not somebody and not even trying to be a troll. Like, that's not going to get you anything right there.
Why are you wearing a Seahawks jersey in Wisconsin at a Packers-Bears game? Like,
because that would be Kyle going to the Penn State game. Is you don't have the balls to wear your Dion Florida State jersey.
It means nothing. It's Penn State versus Indiana. What purpose does me wearing a Dion Florida State jersey have on anything? Why would I do that?
What difference does you wearing a Penn State jersey have? Nothing. Still don't matter.
I didn't wear a Penn State jersey. I wore a Penn State sweatshirt. I'm not a Penn State jersey guy. Don't get me started on that. I'm not going to do that.
Did your skin burn when you had the sweatshirt on? Did it hurt?
It did.
If you ever need some ammo, just so you know, Allie and I usually go to one away game a year. We didn't get to go this year, but last year we went to Washington, and I didn't hate the stadium. I actually thought it was a pretty cool atmosphere, but to get an Uber out of that stadium was harder than Rudolph finding his way through the night, man. You're in a parking lot with 200,000 people, and you're like trying to find your Uber, and they're like, no, walk down this giant path through this college that I couldn't even tell you where it is in Arlington, Virginia, and they're like, wait outside for your Uber, and there's like 12 lanes. I'm like, buddy, I have no idea where I am. Am I in Virginia? Am I in Maryland? Am I in Washington, D.C.? Where am I?
I love it.
What game were you at?
I love it.
What game was that at?
Commanders Steelers last year.
It's a joke of an area.
The one where the Steelers signed Mike Williams.
Yeah, no, it's
I actually like the stadium as far as like stadiums go. I didn't hate it. It's not my top three, but I didn't hate it.
I mean, there's no spectacle to it whatsoever. The way it looks, there's nothing there.
It's better than RFK.
Museums.
I'll tell you my stadium hot take is this. I don't know if anyone else here has been there, but I think that as far as newer stadiums go, I was not that impressed with Allegiant Stadium in Vegas. It was okay. Like, it's nice. It's new. It was comfy inside. It's not SoFi. SoFi blows it out of the water. And
Yeah.
I thought that Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta was better than both of them. But
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard the Atlanta Stadium is like top of the art. Like it's just
I want to go down
incredible.
there just for the food. I want to go down there just for the food prices.
yeah, it's crazy. It's awesome. I never thought I could like a city where the Braves play, but here we are.
There we go. There's something we could talk about. I'm looking forward to this season coming up for the first time. Like it's weird. I know you like some Pittsburgh teams. I'm guessing you don't like the Pirates, but for some reason, like the people that don't spend money and try and make moves, the Braves and Pirates are doing things left and right. I have no idea. None of this makes sense. While the Mets are just, well, I guess we can all, oh, never mind. I forgot about this. Your weird allegiances that don't make sense to me. So, I mean, the Mets are just fluttering. Do we want to talk about any kind of recent signings or anything that we've heard?
No, I mean, on the Mets side, it's just very clear that they're trying to get rid of the core that was once there. McNeil's gone, Nimmo's gone, Alonso's gone. It just seems like a weird time. I think that Devin Williams will be better than he was in the Bronx last year. I don't expect him to get back to his Milwaukee days. I think the optics of signing two Yankees bullpen arms after they probably had the worst years of their careers in Luke Weaver and him it's a bad optic, but I do believe in Stearns' ability to sign pitching. It annoys me that he's trying to but be a general manager of the Mets, and he's acting like he's a general manager of the Brewers. That would be my only, skepticism. I know they went and spent all the money on Soto last year, and maybe they're not done. Maybe they get their hand in Bellinger. Maybe they get their hand in, Framber Valdez. I'm not sure, but that would be my one criticism is like, it seems like he's trying to nickel and dime when he doesn't. Like when you're in Milwaukee, you need to nickel and dime. You don't have the money that Steve Cohen has, and I can respect that. But now we're in year 3 of David Stearns. Like the nickel and diming needs to stop, and it needs to be, you have Soto, Lindor, and these guys for a certain amount of window. Like you were in NLCS 2 years ago. It's go time.
Well, the Mets just grabbed Polanco from the Mariners, right? That's where he ended up going.
Yeah,
I mean, so that's a nice grab for them. I mean, it hurts my heart. I liked Torres.
Except they wanted to play first base, which he's only played like 3 games at before. Like,
And he agreed. He said he had no problem doing it, but
I mean, you signed a contract. I probably wouldn't care either.
Yeah. But it's definitely, they're calling it, an overhaul, which to me is weird. You don't normally have to overhaul when it's not called an overhaul when you're sort of have a blank checkbook, or in theory have been told you have a blank checkbook. It just seems weird. But yeah, you're right. They're clearing house. I had looked it up. It came across my feed somewhere earlier. You got Brandon Nimmo, 14 years, Jeff McNeil, 12, Alonso 9, and even Diaz for 7. Those are your most veteran players that are left there on the team. So what are you doing? Like, it just seems, I don't know exactly what they're doing. So we'll see what happens. I think they're one to watch for sure.
I think it's interesting because, you didn't win with that core. So you can't be that upset that I mean, I'm upset because I love Pete Alonso. He's been in my organization forever. When they traded Brandon Nimmo, like, what does David Stearns love more than anything? He loves defense. So if he's going to build this team around defense and pitching, that Simeon makes you better defensively. Nimmo's a minus outfielder. McNeil's a minus infielder. Like, I'm not saying that analytics are the be all end all. And Pete defensively obviously isn't what he is offensively. But if that's the identity of your team, you want to build yourself around being an elite defensive team and a run-saving team, then I'm fine with it. But again, I think, like you say, Paul, is like the optics of losing 4 guys that have been in your organization for 7 years, a National League, championship run that was, and then you go and get Soto on top of them. And ultimately, I think what decided this is Stearns' and it wasn't just Stearns, because it feels like a lot of teams had a bad deadline last year, but the Mets especially, like you look at their deadline, like Ryan Helsley stunk up the joint, Gregory Soto stunk up the joint. Like they traded for Cedric Mullins, who is not the Cedric Mullins he once was. It just seems like they were reeling so hard from that they're like, let's wash our hands. We have Soto for 13 more years. Let's try again. Now, whether that's the right move or not, we'll see.
Chrissy, what do you think about why the Mariners get rid of Jorge?
I know it was close dollar-wise and stuff like that, and I know Jorge said he wanted to come back, but apparently the Mets just dangled a little bit bigger check in front of him, and I'm hoping that Bregman comes over from the Red Sox to us, and then we can do some moving on our infield right. I mean, that would be my hope after losing Polanco. Again, I wanted to run it back with this team because I feel like we're pretty young and we're a solid, I mean, obviously super solid team.
Do they still have Suarez for another year?
Yes. And then we signed Naylor to the 5-year. No, Suarez is on. No, we don't have. No, Suarez is available. So, but I'm pretty sure Gino's going to stay. I mean, he came back literally at the trade deadline. So,
and I know they have Chrissy. I know they have Kirby locked up, but they don't have Wu locked up, do they? Like he hasn't signed an extension for them yet, or no?
I think Wu still has 1 year. Oh, I was just looking at this like 2 weeks ago too, trying to figure out where I am on everybody. I think Wu still has 1 year left. I want to say most of our pitching has got like 1 or 2 yet left in there, and then it could be a world of hurt.
Like they extended Kirby. Did they extend Gilbert or no?
I want to say yes.
Yeah, because I thought Wu was the only one that hadn't gotten extended for them yet, but I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's awesome to watch.
Christy,
that arm angle and everything like
break
that.
it to you, but I think the Phillies are in on the Bregman sweepstakes as well. So I think Bohm's going to get traded at some point. Yeah. We'll see.
I know Benny. I was like, "Oh, we'll just take Bregman instead." Once when Jorge left, I was like, "That's fine. We're just waiting for Bregman." And Benny's like, "No."
Yeah, I'm wondering. I was like, are the Red Sox in the running for Bregman?
They were in the beginning, and now it looks like they're 100% out as far as everything I've read. Like they were in talks in the beginning, like, "Oh yeah, he could stick with the Red Sox," and now they're not even mentioning the Red Sox anywhere.
Yeah, it seems like that just like stalled completely. Yep.
It feels like a lot of these teams are waiting for the pitching to fall. Like that seems to be the catalyst. Like other than Pete Alonso, like we haven't seen a big hitter really get signed to a deal. I mean, like Polanco was like a smaller deal, but like we haven't seen any big deals. Like I think people are waiting to see where Framber Valdez falls. Imanaga's a free agent, I believe. And isn't there another guy that's like Imai or Imai? I don't know like how to pronounce his name. He's a Japanese pitching prospect that's coming over this year too, I believe. Yep. Like that I think people are waiting to see fall because then they're going to kind of piece together what hitters are going to go where after that.
You also have Ranger Suarez. He's not going to be back with the Phillies, so he's going to sign somewhere else, and he's probably going to get a 5-year deal.
And Michael King was the first one to sign the other day.
Yep. What were you going to say, Paul?
I thought who was the Japanese guy that just signed? It was the White Sox that somehow won that lottery?
Murakami.
Yeah, the Japanese guy.
Did you see the reason why he didn't get signed to like all these other teams? Like, did you see what the reasoning was? So apparently in the offseason, like everybody was in on him. Yankees, Red Sox, Mets, Giants, Dodgers were all like the quote unquote Blue Jays, bigger 6 markets that have kind of gone in on these players. And allegedly the stats came out, and there's not confirmation, but like basically like the analytics came out that he has like a 33% whiff rate against fastballs over 95 miles an hour, and that his batting average is like very, very bad against fastballs, and it scared everyone away. That was allegedly the thing, was that nobody wanted to take a risk on a slugger for 5, because he got 5 years or 6 years, whatever he got. Like that nobody wanted to take the risk on him if he couldn't hit a fastball. I think he's going to be able to hit a fastball based on his swing in MLB The Show. He's gross. But other than that, I don't have any real life evidence on how he can hit.
So he's a Japanese Joey Gallo. So
we'll see.
That's what it sounds like.
Do you see, since you guys want to make fun of me and say I'm a Penn State fan, do you see there's a Japanese pitcher that committed to Penn State University named Sato or Sato?
No, because we're not
on
the weekly emails like you are as a fan.
Well, You got to get started on it. You got to get started on it. See, that's why I'm going to get season tickets to football, because it's going to be complete and utter worldwide chaos up there now that they signed a Japanese pitcher. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Penn State's going to take over the world, and I'm going to have season tickets and make some nice capital gains on selling those every year. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Just throwing it out there.
I mean, we always trying to absolutely no, and the producers out there texting like anybody else about how boring this is being, like how he didn't even think that this podcast was going to happen tonight because he forgot about the OG one. So we're going to have to land this plane at some point soon because he already thought he was going to be in bed. But Kyle, that was about the dumbest dumb shit I've heard in a while. So I think that's probably what's going to take us out of here.
You know what should take us out of here, though? How about we
There
talk
it is.
about
Here
where
it comes.
you should get your hair? No, where should you get your hair cut if you're in the Lancaster area?
And it's not in what area?
Yeah, go ahead,
Lancaster.
Patty. I think you know.
Lancaster.
Yeah.
Lancaster.
Christy, you know too. You talked about it. Yeah, let's go.
I think it's
I know.
Sparrow
I know
Hair
how to
Studio.
sponsors.
And who should you see? Who should you see at Sparrow?
You should go see your
Lean.
girl Lean.
There you
Lean.
go. There you go. I like it. I like it.
Our
What else?
producer's
What else do we
sporting
got?
this pretty sick 3D chain he's got going around his neck right now. I mean, I think we have a partner that does it go by Lotwin? Lotwin?
There you
I
go.
think our
Yeah,
producer
yeah.
used the
I like it.
code.
I like it.
I think our producer used the code TCC Pod for 10% off his first order.
10% off.
It's amazing.
There you go.
I think we have
There
one
you
last
go.
sponsor though. Kyle, you want to take the last sponsor?
Yeah, so proud partner of the show, Mr. Jim Montgomery, in this day in Philly sports history. He puts out content every day. He just, goes down and takes you down a stroll down memory lane of Philadelphia sports. And I know it's one of Paul's favorites. That's why he always likes to mention it. So, he's the less handsome Montgomery brother. We've all been there. We all know. So, shout out to Jim Montgomery in this day in Philly sports history.
We love you
Anything
all.
else?
Merry Christmas.
Did we miss anything, Paul?
No, we did on the OG pod, so we'll do it here. Just a shout out to our newest member this week, Mr. John Stanley. No relation to any other clan/posse that already has infested our. Yeah, that'll work too. Yeah, infested is a good word, I think, for it. The pod community, but want to thank John for standing in on the OG pod last week, and then promptly signing on to be a full-time member. Seemed very excited, and it's something anybody can do. We want to make new friends.
Love it.
Even though
Love it.
the Philly people are really not good at making friends. Most of them have to end up being family members. Somewhere in their family tree, there's always a relation because they just don't know how to talk
your
to people
cousins
nicely,
are always
so.
your first best friends. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Your cousins are always your first best friend.
I didn't think that's where that was going either.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh. Yeah. I was like, I thought we already did dumb shit. We're going to get a little more.
How's
go down a
how's
different path
curling
there.
going, buddy?
The last
How's
time I
curling?
saw
How's
7 or
curling
8
going?
women in one room.
Yeah.
We were watching curling.
Yeah, it should be that should be somehow moved into the episode title, which is slated to end here in just a minute. So, anybody got any other thoughts before we head out for Christmas? I think we may be taking maybe on next week, maybe not. We probably won't know. Producer will either show up or he just won't.
Merry Christmas,
Just like
everybody.
today.
See you later.
Boom, boom, boom.